for each to be the master, to master life. This is the completion of a dream when I was a 16-year-old boy. My story goes that when I was 5, I was sitting on top of my dad's shoulders and we were doing a pilgrimage through the forest into Sabarimalai. It was dark at night. We had all lost our way and we went deep and deeper into the forest. Just then we heard a tiger roar, and all of the pilgrims were chanting the mantra. And just then I saw a beautiful, radiant being with a smile on his face walk towards us, and I pointed out. And he looked at us with a smile. He said, "So you have lost the way," and he points us the way out, back to the trail. And when we turned around, he was not there. Years later, any time I felt lonely, sad, I would hold my breath, and there he was before me. Now, I had wanted to write a book when I was 16 years old, and that book was titled as God. I would hold the breath and try and try and try, and there he was, but there was a thought. I had to wait until the moment to be awake, to experience the divine source, God, and then to write the book. So I, in life, journeyed through. I came back from England. After studies, I was over ambitious. Within a few years, I had created a business spanning over 3 countries. And now I had just completed a major deal, and I should have been happy. But instead, I was struck by a deep sense of sadness and emptiness and knowing that I was going to die. And at this point, I began to feel with clarity that my death was before me. It was for the first time in my life that I put my palms together and called out to God, Source, "Hey, where are you?" And that evening, there was a knock on my door, and that was my first guru. As I opened the door, he tells me, "You have death coming for you. Lord Shiva has sent me to take you. Would you like to come with me?" And I said, "I've been waiting for you all my life." And he took me to Sri Kalahasti. And through the night, he did the rituals that felt to me that I was seeing the death of several lifetimes and the space in between death and being born again. A state where I could feel the pains of each of my life. And when the whole process was over, I felt I was a vast spirit inside this body. My first thought was, when I felt my body, I said, "Oh my God, this body is so small. But it's okay, it's shaped okay." And I then began my journey as a yogi through the wilderness, through solitude, while everything that I called my external reality as my business, my family, everything fell apart. I was going deeper in my journey in South India, through the wilderness, through the shrines, with my gurus, being guided by my gurus, and learning the deeper end of yoga and meditation. That's when I felt to myself, okay, now what? Because I felt I was now reaching a place of stagnancy in my spiritual journey as I was meditating in the caves of Arunachala mountain. Just then, 3 sages came into the cave, and they were to walk uh, all the way from South India to the Himalayas. And they had not spoken for over 20 years. So I walked up to them and said, Swamiji, my life below in actual reality is war. The reality at that time was I had so many creditors, I had everything crumbling around me, and every day was torture. So here I was telling them that there everything was war, and here in the cave it's nice and blissful. So tell me, what is the form of yoga and what is it that I need to do in the reality plane? For a long time there was silence. And then one of them smiled at me and said, what use is the silence if it cannot help humanity? And he started talking to me. And as he spoke, it felt like 1,000 years or a minute. It was timeless. It was just energy that I still feel I receive till this day today. And then he said, we are grateful to be here with you. Ask for anything and we would be happy to give it to you. So I said, you are not going to be able to give me what I ask you for. So he said, ask for anything. You want to be the Prime Minister of this land. You want to be the richest person. I said, no, give me the wisdom behind your silence. He looked at me and said, oh no, you could ask for anything else, but not this. I said, this is the only thing I desire. That's when he smiled and said, now we know why we broke our silence for you. You asked for the right thing. And that was the energies and blessings I received. Through my journey was being with my enlightened masters who gave me, or rather lit in me, consciousness, the light. And this light was matured through my journeys as a yogi. Today, as mastery of consciousness is the teachings to liberate ourselves as spirit, to have the human experience. When our thought is wisdom, we naturally create heavens. Mastery of consciousness lights the inner lamp, the states of joy. Setting daily discipline and routine, we expand our states of joy to be the master of life, in mastery of circumstances, body and mind. We each are unlimited in our potential. My heart's purpose is the declaration of consciousness movement with the intent to reach consciousness to every human. It is the absolute right of every individual to the principles of consciousness. Freedom of thought, ahimsa, the principle of non-violence, women's equality, children needing to be taken care of and nurtured, elders to be revered, consciousness in all organizations, conscious entertainment, unity amongst us, revering and honoring all paths to consciousness. Consciousness as the online grid spelt as CNS curates conscious content and rates consciousness from entertainment to enterprise, to services, to media. Join us as a committee member. I am grateful that we are the power of collective consciousness coming together. Grateful to each of us joining together as